What's up, people? I am back. We're gonna do the Sarah Connor Ripley video. I'm probably gonna do that on Saturday because I just want to kind of get to the Jaws videos because reviews. Because to be honest, this is my second favorite film of all time, and I'm gonna do the franchise. I know I said in the end of my Jurassic video that I was only gonna do three and just do two, one, two, and four. I'm just gonna do them all. Fuck it, like I usually do my reviews. So we're gonna do them all. Um, Sorry, let me get this shit up the table. Anyway, um, but Jaws is just this is a film that like Jurassic Park and this film were my earliest films of all time. Jurassic Park is my first. Jaws would be like two or three. Like it's up there. Like I watched it early on because my parents had it on DVD, not DVD, VHS, VHS, and man, I watched this film like on repeat. Like this in Jurassic Park, I would just put into like and when I love Star Wars, the OT stuff. So kind of like just put all of those in rewind. Just kind of just between those three films alone, you know. But Jaws, this is like a film that made Steven Spielberg's career, in my opinion. I mean, he did films before that. This was like what made him a big name. This is what got him E.T. This is what got him all these iconic films, and I think the animatronic stuff is what if he perfected it by Jurassic Park. I don't think we would have Jurassic Park if Jaws wasn't a success. And Jaws is like the film that kicked off the summer blockbuster. That term. I don't know if it existed before that. Like Jaws is what did it. The big summer release. So, and I want to give this respect to this film because this film, you know, is like a film that made like my life. It really was. It's what made me a Spielberg fan and what made me like just like love and appreciate film was this movie. This and like I said, Jurassic Park and then this movie. Really. And then I'll even give the acknowledge. I'll still always love the OT even though it Disney fucking wrecked Star Wars. Um, but yeah, like Empire Strikes Back was another one when I loved Star Wars. But like those three, you know. But but yeah, I guess we can get started with the film. Cheers. So we get started with this. We're kind of just see this group of teens just at the beach, doing drugs, doing teenager stuff. Then we see this girl, I guess this guy, they're kind of focusing on them, and she wants to go skinny dipping, so she follows her, but he's pretty drunk, or inebriated, like you could tell. So he doesn't follow her really quick, and she already is in the water, and she's swimming, and it seems normal, and then all of a sudden you don't see it, but you could tell like, oh, something's got her. Something grabbed her leg, and you just see her getting dragged in the water, and she's not knowing what it is, and you're just hearing her scream, and then the guy, like you're kind of cutting back to the guy who's like trying to get his pants up, but he like fell, and yeah, he's like inebriated, like he's gone, and so she's just screaming more, and then gets pulled underwater. Don't know what did it. I mean, the poster does kind of spoil it, but yeah, it's still an awesome scene nonetheless. Then we're introduced to the Brodies. We're introduced to Martin Brody, played by Roy Scheider. Roy Schreider, man, he fucking kills it in this movie. He's one of my favorite characters in just like in film. Like he's just so good. And we're introduced to his wife Ellen, his kids Sean and Michael. Sean's the younger brother. Michael's the older brother, and he Martin goes to work. He's the sheriff of the town, and This is where the girl's body's washed up the next day. You see that she was clearly killed by something. She's lost limbs, and he wants to say it's a shark attack, and he's trying to close the beach. And we're introduced to Mayor Vaughn, played by um, fucking what's his name? Hold on, like, cause this is bothering me now. Murray Hamilton. Sorry. Okay. His name is played by Murray Hamilton. Really kills it. Like, he knows how to play like a good asshole. And like, he doesn't want to close the beaches, and he's trying to say, don't call it a shark attack. He's trying to say, because like the medical expert's trying to say, no, it was a boating accident, even though on the phone he was saying it was a shark attack. But because it's the mayor, he kind of gives in. So then we're at the beach. We see everyone just kind of relaxing. It's a normal beach day. Um, and Brody's just kind of watching. And then we see this kid swimming. And then we see like this first person view. There's something in the water. It's the shark's point of view, which is awesome. So the shark kills the kid and drags him under. Apparently, I think there's a longer version that they filmed, but I think they cut it because this film's PG, which it's crazy considering, like, man. And, like I said, they killed a kid. Like, you even hear him, like, gargle, then, like, a bunch of blood shows up, and then the look on Brody's face when he realizes what happens is it's so fucking awesome. Like, it's like, that's good acting, and then the music cue when it kicks in, when it shows his face, and then everyone's out of the water, and the mom's screaming the kid's name, and she doesn't, and then all she sees is his raft, which just has a bunch of holes in it, like bite marks, and then a little bit of blood. Just eerie as fuck. Spielberg just kills it, and you're gonna see me just kind of gushing this whole review, because that's what this film is. This film is just, there's nothing bad you could say about it. There just isn't, like. So then the town, we have like this kind of mass meeting or whatever, and Brody says, "Oh, they're gonna close the beach," but the mayor says, "Oh, it's only for 24 hours," and it kind of caught Brody off guard because I think he wanted it closed for longer, but but it's about them dollars because I think this film's supposed to be like during 4th of July, and you got tourists coming in. And because all he cares about is, I think he mentions earlier in the film, oh, they'll just go to Cape Cod, or they'll go to like I think they said the Hamptons, like somewhere, like another beach kind of place. So that's all he cares about. And then this is where we're introduced to Quint, and played by Robert Shaw. Man, he kills. He's probably my second. It's tied between him and Brody are like my favorite characters of the film. I love Hooper too, but just like, if I had to, like, it's tied between because Brody's Martin's so good, but his Robert Shaw's performance, like, he describes like what the shark is, and his speech about the shark and its black eyes, like, very much, I think, where Halloween got a little bit of influence on, which is awesome. I think Jaws influenced a lot of slasher films. I know Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out a year before this. Was the year before this, or yeah, 74. But man, this film kicked off, like, cause you do get a little bit of them slasher tropes in this one. But yeah, he describes the shark, and he basically says, "I will hunt it for a certain price," and then he just kind of walks off like a badass. Just awesome scene. Then we see Brody just kind of researching stuff about sharks, and his sons have a boat that they use, and they're just kind of playing in it, and he freaks out. He's like, "No, y'all, you gotta get out there." And his wife tries to comfort him and calm him down. She tells them to get off, and then we kind of cut to these two dudes who are trying to capture the shark. They have um like a roast, like a chicken, like a uncooked chicken they throw it in the water. The shark naps it, but it ends up destroying the pier, and it grabs the pier. And the guy ends up falling in the water and it's chasing them. And this scene's awesome because you don't see the shark, but the thing that kind of represents the shark is there. Oh, it's dragging this pier, this part of the thing, and it works. And they end up like obviously he survives, nothing really major, but just awesome scene nonetheless. Just the music kicking in, and it's just a little scene. It didn't, but it's like, oh, we'll still have a little bit of a shark scene though, even if you don't. The fact that the shark, all this happened because the shark couldn't work. It's crazy because I think if it did work, who knows? Jaws maybe would have just been looked at it. Oh, it's a B shark movie. Oh, it's shark kills people movie, but it wouldn't have been. I don't know if it maybe wouldn't be looked at as what it is now. But I'm gonna just take a quick shot at Godzilla 2014. You know why this movie worked? Is because you had strong characters. Same thing with Alien. Why Godzilla 2014 didn't work is you had weak characters. So it just made you want the monster stuff. And in my view, Godzilla and a shark are two different things. A shark you could do that with because shark's mainly in water. Godzilla's a giant monster, but the shark you felt its presence. Even if you don't see it, you don't really see it until like really the main attack scene, which I'm gonna get to soon. Um, but that's why it worked, unlike 2014, which you don't feel his presence at all. So I just wanted to take that quick shot at that movie. But back at Jaws. We're introduced to Hooper the next day, um, and a group of guys kind of found a like tiger shark. They're trying to say this is the shark that did it, but Hooper, who also there's a scene of him doing like a quick autopsy on the girl, and yes, it was a shark attack, and that's what that scene was. Anyway, um, but so a group of guys capture a tiger shark, and they're trying to play it off like this is the shark that did it. And the mayor and Brody initially were like, "All right, this is cool. This is the shark." But Hooper is having his doubts because he doesn't want to. You don't want to be too sure. And the mayor is against doing an autopsy right there because his reasoning was, I don't want that boy just flying off, and then this is flying out of the shark, so he refuses it. Then the boy's mom shows up, and it's a really sad scene. She confronts Brody, I guess, and the mayor too, and you know says that they knew that there was a shark out the day before and that killed. She found out about the girl who was killed the night before. Slaps Brody and says, "You couldn't. Now my son is dead." And it's a really like sad scene because it's like sad for everybody. She lost her son, but I feel bad for Brody because it's like he was the one who was trying to like say it was a shark, but it's the fucking mayor. And yeah, it's a really sad scene all around. So she and then like the music is sad, and then like the way Brody walks off. Because I think like yeah, Hooper was trying to comfort him. Is like nah, or it's either Hooper or the mayor trying to comfort him, and then he basically says like something like she's right, and then he just like walks off. Just really sad scene. So then later, we see Brody just like chilling, I think drinking, and his son Sean, who's the younger one. This is where we get that iconic scene of him like copying him. Every little movement it does. It's an awesome, this wholesome little scene. After the scene, and it's such just awesome because it's like the day he had, and it's an awesome little scene. Then Hooper comes over. They drink for a little bit, have a little bit of a conversation, and then Brody suggests, "All right, we'll go cut that shark, the tiger shark that they found." So they go that night. They cut the shark. It turns out it's not the shark that did it. then they go on a Hooper's boat, and then Hooper talks about like kind of like how he became an oceanographer. Just an awesome little scene, just those little character building moments. And that's like the thing about this film is, yeah, you don't get a lot of the shark, but that's fine because you got strong characters, and like each like scene is just a character moment. So, um, they find the boat that was attacked. Hooper decides he's gonna go in and dive and try to go under. He goes under. He finds a great white shark tooth, but then gets spooked because like a body pops out and he ends up losing the tooth. Then he swims back up. Then the next morning, they're trying to convince Vaughn, you gotta close the beaches because that's not. They basically tell him that's not the shark. The shark that was found that wasn't the one that did it, and that it was a great white. And the mayor basically is having none of it. He doesn't want to close the beach. He's like freaking out because like, oh, people, put a like, because there's like a billboard of like this girl swimming in Amity Island, right? Like surfing on her little paddle board or whatever. And somebody put like tagged like a shark dorsal fin because it's becoming like the shark town. And he's more mad about that, not freaking out. Like, yo, you have a great white. This isn't like a small tiger shark. This is a fucking great white. And he says like whatever you do for security, but he's like he's gonna keep the beaches open, and he's such a good character to hate, and it's like a little bit like you could hate him in a good way in this one. I think in the second one they go a bit too far. When we'll get to that tomorrow. I do like Jaws 2 though. Like if I had to spoil it, my Jaws 2 review, I overall like it. It's not as strong as this one, but it's a decent sequel. Maybe they probably should have edited it there. But anyway, back to this movie. So we just kind of get a little montage of them trying to get more security for the beach. You get shot of tourists coming in and all that. Then we're now at the main beach scene where the mayor has like an interview. He's like, "Oh, everything's fine," and all that. You get a scene of like these kids trying to play a prank. Like one of them had like a shark dorsal fin thing, and they scare a bit of people, but it turns out it wasn't. Like they had like guns pointed out of them and shit. And the kids revealed themselves. Everything seemed fine. And earlier, Michael, who's the older brother, the oldest son of Martin. Martin kind of like asked him, "Can you just go in that little lagoon over there?" Because I think he's in like some Boy Scout kind of like summer camp kind of thing going on, and he agrees. So they go there. This is where we get the shark attack. The girl's like screaming shark, and Brody running to try to save his son is really like just awesome. Like it's an awesome scene, and this is where we get like they're just chilling in the lagoon, and they're in like little, I think it's like a canoe basically, and like they're trying to tie a rope, and then you see the shark dorsal fin. It knocks the boat over, and the shark ends up killing the camp council. Really, like just this is where we get like our first real look at the shark, and it's just an awesome scene. Really brutal, and like he gets dragged down, and then you see like a shot of his like leg in the water. It's really eerie. This movie's fucking. I can't believe this movie was PG. Like it's a crazy thing. But today it would probably be like PG-13 or R-rated. Um, so the shark kind of swims off while like Michael's just in the middle of the water. He ends up getting him out of the water, but he's like in shock. And then they take him to the hospital. This is where like the mayor has basically he's eating fucking crow because yeah he got more people killed now. And Brody asks him that you gotta sign this thing and let Quint kill the shark, and he does all that. And then we get the pretty much the main iconic scenes of the movie. I would really say because this is like the last 30 to 40 minutes of the movie. So Hooper, Quint, and them kind of like I don't know. They just kind of give a little bit of the plan and what's going on. Brody's has a little bit of a quick send off with his wife. Sends off his wife. Then they go off in the boat. And Quint's plan is he wants to use these barrels to try to like harpoon the shark and like use it like kind of to see where it is. So I'll just kind of jump to he asks Brody to like throw like basically meat, so it can attract the shark. And then he's like kind of talking shit, and then the shark just like pops out, and then this is where we get the iconic "Do you need? We're gonna need a bigger boat" scene. Such an awesome little sequence. And then then we see the shark just kind of them chasing the shark, try to use, and then we get like Hooper saying it's 20 footer, like, and then Quint saying 25. Like, oh my god, that's such an awesome scene. Just really quick there. Then they start shooting barrels to follow the shark. We get a little bit of that for the next few minutes, but then they end up losing the shark, and it becomes nightfall. Then we get more character building, where they're all like eating dinner, and you have not Brody, Quint and Hooper just talking about like how they got their injuries, like who had the most injuries. Just awesome little moments there. 'Cause like I said, you don't get a lot of the shark, and then I'm gonna say another thing about the shark too. I really love. I like that they didn't just kind of go because we've seen like even by that time what a great white looks like. I'm kind of happy they didn't just go with a generic, like I'm not gonna say generic, but like a regular looking great white design. They kind of like we're gonna make it and put our own little stamp on it because now we know what the Jaws great white is and then the regular great white. So it's like awesome. Like so now we know like it's like Spielberg put his own little stamp on it. So they have like they kind of like are celebrating for a little bit, and then the shark punctures a hole in the boat, and then they gotta basically try to fix the engine, and they're doing this into the morning. And Brody's trying to like radio in like help, but Quint's like basically hell bent on like no, we're doing this ourselves. So he destroys the radio. They have a quick argument. Then we have another like harpoon kind of cool scene, and then the last option is because the boat's now starting to sink. Is Hooper's like, we'll use my shark cage and I can try to puncture it with this. It's some like lethal dose of like some kind of thing. Then they end up doing it. They like set up the cage and everything. And this is just an awesome scene because, and yeah, some long scenes from the shark are like actual shots of a great white. But Spielberg does it so seamlessly, even at that time, to where like yeah, when it attacks the cage, now it's the shark we know. It attacks the cage and ends up destroying it. We see Hooper swim off, but only the audience knows that. To Brody and Quint, they think he's dead. So it's really done well because we know he's alive. I love when movies do that. Like they leave it to where like yeah, the audience knows, but not the characters in the movie. It's really just he does it so well. So the shark ends up destroying the cage. Hooper swims off, but and they end up bringing the cage back. The cage is fucked up, so they think he's dead. Then the shark attacks again. It ends up killing Quint, which Quint's death's really sad because Quint's an awesome character, and the last like 30-40 minutes you're spending with him, and then he just dies is really sad, and it's just brutal. Like when the shark like bites down hard, and you just see like the blood rising out of him. It's really sad. So Quint gets dragged down. Then the shark's trying to attack Brody. Brody puts a gas canister in its mouth, and he does that, but then he ends up climbing to the crow's nest of the boat. Has a gun, and this is where we get the iconic scene where he blows up the shark. One of my favorite like deaths, and just the iconic "smile, you son of a," and blows it up, and then like the music that's playing when the shark's just like singing to the water, and then Hooper reappears, and they just kind of swim to shore in the end the film. Jaws is a fucking. This is my second favorite film of all time. I have nothing bad to say about it. This is, if I was a film teacher, this would be like one of the like if I had to like list certain films that I would show like to students, like this is how you do a film. This is like gonna be like number two. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. And then it's crazy because the shark couldn't work right. It would be interesting. I would love to see not a remake, but like an alternate version. Like if it was like it's like I'm gonna say some crazy shit. Like if like an alternative universe existed, right, where Jaws happened, but with more of the shark scenes. Like if they actually were able to get the shark to work and none of the, because I don't know, it would be a different film. I really feel like it would be a different film. I don't know if it would be as iconic now, like it is now. Which game, man, that's the strongest like core of this movie and the heart of this film is the cast and the character building. Like just little like we learned so much about Brody, Quint, Hooper, even his wife, like even like Vaughn, he's an asshole, but but he's a character you learn about. Just and then this is just and it's just this film, and like I said, this film made an entire generation not want to go in the water. Like that's how iconic this film was. I have nothing bad to say. I have like no criticisms. This is the movie that I think Carpenter probably. I wouldn't, and I even wouldn't doubt Carpenter would admit it. Halloween definitely had some inspiration from this movie. I mean, Quinn's speech about the shark is so eerily similar to the Blackest Eye speech. Not in the way it's said, but it's just that like it sets the tone of what the shark is and what Michael Myers is. Like it's the same type of thing. The importance of music, because that's the biggest thing about this film is the score. John Williams' score just made it work. The iconic opening where we get the Jaws music, it's just so perfect, and it's not a long opening either. It kind of goes pretty quick, and then it just cuts right to the someone playing harmonica. It's just perfect, man. This is the perfect film. I'm happy, and there's a big reason I'm happy too. Spielberg said fuck no to a reboot. He's like, fuck no, you're not remaking this, because all it would just be another shark movie. Let Jaws be Jaws. Do like more Megs. I actually enjoyed the Meg. Just do a sequel to that. Build up on that. We already have Jaws. And I think that's why a lot of shark movies don't work. Is too many of them try to just be a Jaws clone. And speaking of Jaws clones, look how many Jaws clones we got right after Jaws. You got a killer orca movie, which is basically Jaws with a killer whale. There was a movie called Snow Beast, which came out like 2 years later in like '77. It was about like a yeti, but it was basically Snow Jaws. Like you had an asshole like mayor or person in charge who didn't believe the creature existed. You had like the opening where the creature attacked somebody. It was like a girl. I think she was the same hair color too. She was a blonde girl. Then you have like the person realizing what's going on, but the mayor doesn't want to, or the leader doesn't want to believe because this is some kind of tourist attraction. Then you get a big attack scene where the mayor finally realizes what's going on. Then you get like a team to hunt the creature. It's literally paced like Jaws. It's crazy, but it's Jaws, but in snow with a yeti. Like that's what we got. We got a lot of Jaws clones, but that's how iconic a film is. Is how many clones can it spawn? How many movies try to be that? I mean, look at like 300. You looked at the Bourne movies. Whatever you think of the Bourne movies, how many Bourne clones do we kind of? Even James Bond kind of copied the Bourne movies. Like, so Jaws is the my second favorite film of all time, and is a film to show film students, yo, this is how you do a fucking movie. Simple, great cast, great score, right place, right time. So I'm happy I'm finally reviewing this, and it's gonna be awesome to review Jaws 2. I like Jaws 2. It probably should have stopped there because I think Jaws 2 is a nice endpoint. It's not as strong as the first, and like I don't like the level of like skepticism that the mayor and like the town has. It gets full. It's a bit retarded. Like it's not like healthy skepticism like the first one was. This one was like, okay, come on, guys, you know. But that'll be tomorrow. But Jaws is a 20 out of 10. So I'm gonna probably peace out here and But other than that, as usual, fuck Warner Brothers, fuck Disney, fuck bitch ass James Mangina, fuck OneRing.net. I'll tomorrow review Jaws 2, and I'll probably do a bands I love tomorrow with Seven Dust. So I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.